Hey everyone, it's Chris. Welcome back to the PDX Picker channel, day 2 of Vlogmas. We have a couple orders that we'll pull that sold for me in the last day. Pull those later on, but want to start off with talking about the delivery of the Super Nintendo and also a buyer that left me negative feedback and is implying, I guess, that eBay sellers should do something that I don't know if any of us ever do. So, interesting story behind that, so stick around in a little bit. We'll talk about all those topics and more. I was going to say after the intro song, but I'm giving the intro song a break for a while. Okay. As I mentioned in yesterday's video, the Super Nintendo was set to be delivered, the $2,550 Super Nintendo. I'm happy to report it was delivered, and I haven't heard anything from the buyer, which I'm taking as a good sign. I contemplated proactively reaching out and saying, hey, saw that it was delivered, how's everything look? But I'm not going to do that. I think that is just going to invite and open up a doorway for potential issues to be brought up. So I'm not going to do that. But it was delivered, so that's somewhat of a sigh of relief. Now I'm just going to wait 30 days to hopefully have nothing happen, pass through the return window, and eventually actually withdraw that money from my eBay balance. I'm not going to touch it until then. On to the negative feedback. Last week I sold, or maybe it was the week before, a WeBoost cell phone signal extender for your home. I got it in the storage unit auction that I bought a while back. Tried to test it out, but I realized I didn't have the power cord, and I didn't know what it was for, but I had a couple of antennas, I had a receiver piece, some cable, coax cable, and these sell in working condition for $300 or so. So I decided to just list everything parts only, no returns, $100. Sold it in a day or two, shipped it off to the buyer. Buyer messaged me and said this: I want a refund. This was obviously damaged when sent. No idea what he was talking about. I don't know. I did not notice any obvious damage. I didn't notice any unobvious damage. I just said, I don't have any idea what you're referring to. What obvious damage are you talking about? Never heard back from him, but I did check, and lo and behold, not surprising, he left me negative feedback. And this is where the piece that I have never seen an eBay buyer have an issue with before. What he is claiming is quite bizarre. At least in my mind. I don't know. Maybe all of you are doing this out there, and I'm the weird one, which is certainly possible. There's a lot of things that I might do that might be different than others, but here's what the feedback was. So he says the antenna was obviously damaged when it was offered for sale. I don't know what he's talking about. He does include 3 pictures in here. Not one of them is of the antenna that was obviously damaged, so don't know what he's referring to. Then he goes on to say there are burnt marks on the coax cable, and the amplifier has a burnt circuit board. He attaches 3 pictures, one of which is a couple of burn marks on the coax cable, which, even if I had noticed those, which I didn't, I threw in the coax cable just for giggles, because that stuff's a dime a dozen. There's no value in the coax cable. The value is in the amplifier and the antennas. So here's the picture of the burnt coax cable. But then he says, as I mentioned, the amplifier has a burnt circuit board. And I'm attaching 2 pictures here that he attached, which show the burnt circuit board. So I believe what this buyer is suggesting we as sellers do is open up our electronics to inspect the internal circuits, which is insane. I don't even if I did do that on every one of my electronics, I would have no idea what I was looking at. Even if I saw a burnt piece, maybe it probably should imply something is wrong with it, but I don't know. I'm not an electrician. I'm not an electronics expert. I thought it was crazy. I thought it was absolutely bizarrely crazy that he is suggesting that I should have known that this was obviously damaged because it has a burnt circuit board that was on the inside of the amplifier. Anyway, I'll respond to that and just essentially say something to the effect of, I'm very sorry that I'm not even going to say sorry. I'm just going to say I sold this parts only. I'm not in the habit of opening up electronics to inspect the internal circuits. That's what I will say, and I'll leave it at that. Very, very bizarre. Bit of a slow sales day. We have 5 total things that are going out. 1 on Poshmark, 4 on eBay. So let's pull those real quick, and then I'll give you an update on the things that I'm also doing in my resale business today. First one is just a multi-quantity listing that I make about $2 per sale. This is a Subaru keychain. It's got like a multi-tool in it, a real kind of cheap multi-tool. That sold for $8.09. Free shipping. I guess it must have been a 10% offer that I sent out, because normally it's $8.99. I think I have like 30 or 40 of those. Bought them for like 20 cents each or so. Next sale, quite a bit better. Picked this up for $5 at a garage sale over the summer. This was a vintage Def Leppard concert t-shirt. You can kind of see it there. I believe this is the Hysteria tour, which was in 1987. Single stitch. One thing this did not have going for it was there was no tag. Well, there is a tag, but it was been washed so many times that you couldn't read anything on it. So originally had that listed for $50, but took an offer for $35 plus shipping on that. Well, I thought I had a sale on Poshmark, but it turns out I already sold that item on eBay. It was a Clinique lipstick that I thought I sold for $29, but I did not, because I already sold it. It's the second item that I double sold in the last 2 days. The first one is essentially the fault of Vendoo. This doesn't happen very often. Every now and then there's a disconnect between Poshmark or Mercari, and the sales don't transfer through, they aren't delisted automatically via Vendoo. I go through my sales, or I go through my listings every so often on both Mercari, well, frankly, all 3 of my platforms, Mercari, Poshmark, and Depop, that I cross-list on. And I try and pull out the items that have already sold. Missed that one, though, unfortunately, so I'll have to cancel that order. I also, this one is 100% my fault. I had this Squishmallow for like 2 years. New with tag Squishmallow. I bought it for $10 at Goodwill, kind of in the height of the Squishmallow craze about 2 years ago. And I think I listed it for like $55, free shipping. Pretty large Highland Cow Squishmallow. Didn't sell it, delisted it, and then sold similar, and I think I listed it most recently at $27.99 free shipping. This was like 3 months ago, still hadn't sold it, and I decided I was going to give it to my niece, who was going to actually give it to her best friend as a Christmas present. So this past weekend for Thanksgiving, I saw her, gave her the Highland Cow to give to her friend for Christmas, and then promptly forgot to delist the item on eBay, and lo and behold, what happened today is I sold the cow. Had to cancel that order, so that's 2 orders that I had to cancel just today. So that's fun. Fun. I'll cancel this order here in Poshmark. Really, for obvious reasons, hate to do that. It's not quite as... There's a limit to the number of times you can do this on Poshmark, just as there is a limit to the number of times you can do it on eBay. I'm well within the limits on both, but still very annoying. Picked up this item at my favorite thrift store. It was Christmas related, cheap and new in the package, so all good things. And it did sell, thankfully. It's called the Tree Mote, so it's a plug-in and a remote control for your tree to turn on and off the lights. I bought this for $1.99, and it sold for $14.99 plus shipping. Not a huge moneymaker, but a nice little quick sale. And then I did sell, I hope, Okay. I did sell a lipstick on eBay. This is the Super Berry. Picked a bunch of lipsticks up for like 50 cents each. This was a really good buy. I think I have 3 left, and this sold for $31.99, free shipping. The Super Berry Clinique lipstick. They don't make this shade anymore, so that adds to the value and drives up the price. All right, so yesterday I had this table here full of pins, Union memorabilia. It was completely full, and hopefully you can tell now it is less full. I listed a ton of them. And then I also had a big stack of comics here, and I listed all of them but 2. So I made a huge dent in that today, so that felt really good. I'm going to, I have this stuff here that I'm not passionate about listing. Let me just show it to you here so I can actually, so you can see it. These are all pins that have like locations on them. So Arkansas, Statue of Liberty, SeaWorld, Hawaii, Texas, Tennessee, Montreal, etc., etc., etc. So they're all tied to like locations. I think this is an Olympics one, 92 Olympics, which was in Barcelona. Looks like volleyball. I don't know, that might have some value on its own. I highly doubt it. But anyway, I was thinking about just lotting these all up for like $12 free shipping. I can do that. It won't take me any time at all. This pin here, I want to do a little bit more research. Ugh, there's a small chance that this is sterling silver. It's a Roadrunner with like a turquoise piece on it. Cannot get these to focus. If it's sterling silver, it has, I don't know, maybe it's probably not worth much even with it being sterling. So, and that's it for the pins. Yay. Well, that's not true. I still have all these. Darn it. I got this bat I bought this lot of wooden baseball bats at an auction for like $10, and sat on for like 2 years, 3 years, 3+ years. Eventually, I decided I'm going to pull them out, and I sold one of them for $125 in a day because it was a Louisville Slugger that was made between 1911 and 1916. There's a way you can date the Louisville Sluggers relatively quickly based off of the brand on there. And I have another one listed for like $30. I think it was like an early 19th century Wright and Dotson bat. And then this is also a Louisville Slugger. This is dated to, I think, the 50s. And these almost all, from this time period anyway, they have a player's name attached to it. There is right here, which you can't really see, there used to be a player's name there. It is all but pretty much completely wiped off. And I was trying to see if there was a way I could somehow figure out what it was. But even if I could figure it out, I highly doubt it's going to be worth much anyway. It's not in the best condition. I think I might just, I don't know, maybe this is worth $15 at the most. Probably more like not really worth anything. So I haven't decided if I'm just gonna, it's also broken. So I'm almost positive I think I might, I don't even know if it's worth donating. So in this case, I think these are my 2 options. I'm either gonna donate it or I'm going to burn it. I suppose I could use it in the house for like, in case somebody breaks in, I could run at them with this bat. What would you do with a bat like that if you had it? Let me know. Comment. I'm going to work on that. I'm going to basically wipe off these 2 comics. I'm going to get this router listed. I have this that I need to figure out. As I mentioned yesterday, a bunch of glass, a bunch of porcelain, mostly ashtrays, but some uranium glass in here. So I'll definitely list the 3 uranium glass pieces. I bought this, I can't remember where or how much I paid for it. I thought it was cool, but there's no mark anywhere. I don't think that's worth listing. These are a bunch of metal ashtrays. So this is the kind of stuff that's in my death pile, you know? It's some decent things intermixed with just some junk. So I got a bunch of ashtrays in a auction. I used to buy a lot of sourcing by online auctions. I don't do it at all now because the profit margins on it are really low. But like, who in the world would buy? I guess they're copper, maybe. I don't know if they're copper. Maybe they are. Some of these look like they could be copper, like 100% copper, and then this one doesn't at all. But I highly doubt these have any value. These ones are kind of cool. Yeah, I bought these separate. $3 for these. These are old cars. Oldsmobile Runabout, 1903. Cadillac Automobile, 1903. And Ford's first car, 1896. No marking on the back that I can see. Obviously that needs to be cleaned up. I don't know, that might be worth 10, 12 bucks. This is just a plain glass one. Doubt that's worth anything. Made in occupied Japan, but completely almost no design on it. This one has some sort of mark, made in the USA with an F on it, but very plain. A couple of I thought it said Fred Rogers at first. It says Fred Roberts Company, made in Japan, so like porcelain. Maybe this one has a little bit of value because of the color. It's like a blue and a black, but no mark on it. Another clear one. Italy. Then I got a couple of Wedgwood pieces. Here's a little like cameo. 12039 Germany. That might have some value. And then this, I think I just heard lightning. This is another piece. Needs some cleaning though. Sometimes Wedgwood is okay, and a lot of times it isn't. So it just depends on the piece. I bought this. I thought it was cool because it's just a super old TI Texas Instruments calculator with the box. No value on that. This little flower vase, Lowestoft, Germany, is cool. Pretty sure there's no value in that. It says a British manufacturer on the bottom. And this piece in here, this drives me nuts. I sold this like 2 years ago for like $5. And I want to ship it. It's like a vintage pipe cleaner doll. Want to ship it, and I couldn't find it anywhere. So I ended up having to cancel that order. This, along with like, I think it might have been one other one, but very soon after it. But this, having to cancel that order, pushed my defect rate into the below or the above standard. So I went from top rated to above standard because of this missing. This guy, I couldn't find him. Turns out he was in here. Obviously, why wouldn't I store a pipe cleaner doll in with all of my glass pieces? Very frustrating, very frustrating. So I'm going to work on getting a lot of that listed today. I'm either going to figure out whether or not I'm going to list it or I'm going to get rid of it. So hopefully tomorrow this table area will be all completely cleared. So that's going to do it for today's video. Like if you did, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Like I said, comment below what would you do with that baseball bat. And thank you to PDX Posse member Harley Gal. Good luck with your reselling ventures out there. We'll catch you on the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.